Hi, I'm Will Doherty, owner of Mammoth Signs and Printing. Today I'm going to talk to you about washing your car in preparation for a vehicle wrap. There's just a few differences between a traditional car wash and the wash that we're going to do today. The first being what type of detergent we're going to use. We'd like for you to use Dawn. This is probably the only dish detergent we'd like to use, typically because Dawn doesn't have any additives in it like hand softeners or anything like that. We want just a straight detergent and a dish detergent too. The next thing that we do that's a little different is we prepare our buckets by using what's called a 2-bucket wash method. We have one bucket that's dedicated to the wash material, and this is where we put our water and our soap. And we have another one that's dedicated to rinsing, which is not for rinsing the car, but rather for rinsing the mitt that we'll be using to wash the car. The other thing that we do that's a little different, you may not have these at home and that's fine, is we use a grid system that allows for any of the dirt that comes out of your mitt to fall through to the bottom and not be turned back up and gathered and collected on the mitt. And that really just helps to reduce any scratching that could happen from the wash process. Once we're done washing the car and making sure that we've gotten all around the wheel wells and underneath the bottom and all those kind of hidden areas, we're going to move on into drying. The reason that we need to dry the car after we wash it is because the second step is going to be the clay bar process. We'll talk about that in a minute. When you get done washing, we'll use a squeegee like this to strike off the majority of the water that's left on the car, and then come behind it with a chamois cloth like this to dry the final amount off. If you don't have a squeegee, that's fine. You can use the chamois. It's just going to take you a few more passes. But for right now, we just want to go ahead and use the Dawn, wash the car, and get it nice and dry so we can go on to step 2. Let's get started doing the wash. All right, we've got the car cleaned up and we're ready to get started with step 2, which is the clay bar process. You may or may not be familiar with this, but it's a very simple process. What we do is we'll get a kit from an auto parts store. You can pick them up at most any store. It'll be right there in the car wash section. In that kit is going to be a bottle of detailer, clay bar like this, and a drying cloth. We'll get started in how to do this in just a second, but in order to show you the importance of the clay bar process, I'm going to go ahead and install a piece of vinyl right here on the car and give you an example of what it looks like when we don't get the paint as clean as it possibly can be. Let's get started with that. Okay, so we've installed a piece of the 3M vinyl that we would normally use to wrap a car. And one of the most important things to look at, this vinyl echoes all of the contours in the finish. And right here, if you look closely, you'll see where we've got a piece of debris that was left in the paint that is still visible underneath the car. That's the kind of thing that the clay bar process will remove and make sure that we've got a great looking wrap when we're finished. All right, the next and final step for you in the process of getting your car ready is the clay bar process. We've got our clay bar, which I showed you earlier, our microfiber towel, and our detailer. It's a very simple process. We just simply spray the car with our detailer, give it a few squirts. Our clay bar has been flattened out just a little bit, and we go over the finish. You'll go back and forth a few times, and you may hear it making a little noise. You'll feel it dragging a little bit, and then all of a sudden it'll get real easy to move after you've been over everything. It'll just start going more and more quickly and smoothly, like nothing's even there. That means you've got it all cleaned up. You can tell what's left on the paint. If you can see, there's a dark spot here, and there's a little light spot that wasn't touching the paint, but that's what's left even after washing the car. So now we take that up, and that part of the car is as clean as it needs to be. It's ready for the wrap process to begin. But let me show you just how much difference there is. You can hear my hand going across the surface of what we just clay barred. It's not very dirty, but as I come over here, you hear it and all that drag. That's the difference in how clean this paint is over that paint. And that's what makes a Mammoth wrap stick better, last longer, and live up to the manufacturer's warranty. All right, so we finished the clay bar process. And I wanted to take a second to show you by applying this vinyl to the vehicle just how important it is. The clay bar removes all of the impurities from the paint and makes sure we get a really good adhesion from the vinyl and that there's no dirt trapped underneath. When you take a look here, you'll see that that vinyl echoes the paint finish perfectly, and that's exactly the way that your wrap should look when you're done.